It's Friday, April 1st, 2016. This is Next Level. I'm Alec.
I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Kenny.
And today on the show, we're going to be talking about some new releases coming out from Overkill Software and Polygon coming up with some new stuff with Final Fantasy 15, and some other interesting news about the April 1st jokes that are popping up around on the various stations. Reminder, you can chat with us live on our website at NLGO.net. Just click on the post for today's podcast. So, one big thing that's been on the news a lot this week and has been popping up, especially on different news channels, has been the big controversy going on with the Tracer's stand in the new game Overwatch from Blizzard. One of the big things that's going on with it is that a lot of people, it's kind of made a two-camp divided situation where they're trying to decide, is the game, or is that pose sexist, is it not? For those that don't know at home, there's this pose that all the characters in Overwatch have called behind back, I think it is, where in the end, if you win the game, and you're like the best player in the game, they'll take a look behind them, and some people thought the one for the character that's kind of the signature character is kind of sexist. So it's made two different teams, and they had a forum post actually on the Overwatch website where there was a person not very happy about that pose, and Blizzard actually removed the pose from Tracer. Apparently, though, there was some rumors about it already going to be removed anyways, but it's been a really big controversy this week, and this is the big thing that I think we should go over right away, and then we'll get into some other fun stuff that's a bit less serious.
Well, I feel like it's a little ridiculous because it's not even that sexual. Like you said, it's every character too. Every character has that. It's not just the one character that has that pose. Like what makes hers so sexual.
Yeah, and I even went further. I'm not sure. I have to read further into it. But I think they removed it from every character in the game. I don't think it's just the one.
Yeah.
Because they ended up actually coming out with the reports talking about it, saying, we're sorry, and they got rid of it. Some people herald this as a bad thing, showing that, whenever somebody doesn't like something about your game, you decide to totally change it from a small minority. They're saying, what's the limit to that? Do we need to go further? Or should they just say, we're going to do the game we want to do? And I find that might be an issue in the next upcoming couple of years with game developers changing their game because of a small thing or because of a group of people don't like a particular thing in it.
Well, I think that that was a very mild thing compared to a lot of different games out there. We were just playing Mortal Kombat earlier. Look at that. I mean, they've gotten better, but look at their past games. Like, it's been way worse with the amount shown and stuff like that, and it's just like if you're gonna attack a game like that for something that mild, but not attack something that's way worse with sexism, I guess you could say. I think people need to really pick their battles.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not outright saying it's not something that you have to keep an eye on. I mean, there's definitely issues in the game industry from time to time with sexism and issues like that. But this is one of those cases where it was something that I don't know. I don't consider it horrible because it was already going to be taken care of anyways, most likely, according to some rumors from Blizzard. And this is before the game is even released, so the game isn't even fully out yet. I mean, technically it's in a popular beta right now. But it's not on full launch.
Well, something I just don't understand is I've always kind of had a problem with this. Actually, just last semester I wrote a whole report on how over-sexualization in video games isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I recently just did the review for Street Fighter V, and I pointed out the ridiculous over-sexualization there. Like
Chun-Li is insane.
That's just ridiculous. For something like that to happen to a character that has never had that characteristic before, to have it that bad, it was just... It's infuriating, but then you look at that Overwatch, and there's nothing really sexual about that pose. Like, why eliminate the pose? Why not maybe just put thicker clothing around her backside or something? Why do they have to eliminate that whole? There's nothing sexual about that pose.
Yeah, she's just looking behind her shoulder.
Yeah, that is all it is. Where are we going to draw the line now? Are we going to make sure everybody is completely wearing, sweater vests and you can't see anything anymore that differentiates them from anybody else?
Although I totally wouldn't mind if we had, in Street Fighter, we just had Dave. It's just a guy wearing a sweater vest, totally normal.
Yeah, and exactly. It's like, where are we going to actually voice our opinion on something so mild like that, or a game like Street Fighter where they completely over-sexualized it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like people get bent out of shape about very little things, but don't go after the bigger things or the bigger picture. And I mean, I could see where they're coming from if they were going after something like Street Fighter, the way they design their characters. And I guess it's like I guess a lot of fighting games is the biggest with over sexualizing.
Oh.
I feel, but it's like I don't know. I feel like they need to actually, if they want to make that known, they have to go after the bigger picture with it, and not something that mild. And I mean, like it was so mild, like was Blizzard was the ones making it, right?
Yeah.
They were just okay, we'll change that. We didn't even think about that. Like
Well, something I did just think of is Capcom was developed in Japan, and Blizzard is being developed in North America.
Mhm.
The cultural differences are pretty big, but even then, like usually,
well, I mean, you have like Mortal Kombat's developed in America.
yeah, that's true.
There's other games that are developed in America where they do the same thing, but I feel that if you are really strongly opinionated about that and you want to voice your opinion, hit the bigger picture, not something that really isn't going to make a whole lot of a difference.
Like not something so trivial as that pose.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's confusing to me because
Mhm.
like we've been saying, games like Street Fighter come out where it's just everything's oversized and ridiculous, and then something's like nobody says a thing about it, and then something as small as this little slightly sexualized pose comes out for Overwatch, and everybody
Mhm.
loses their mind.
And I know I personally played Mortal Kombat in recent years, and they had Mortal Kombat 9 where it was like, just like Street Fighter was really over sexualized and ridiculous. And then their newest Mortal Kombat X actually changed that, and they actually like look like normal people. And I don't know if somebody made a change from that or if it was just the developers who wanted to do that. I'm betting someone somewhere voiced
Someone
their
probably
opinion.
said something.
Yeah, but I mean that's something that's a whole big change, and that's something that was like throughout the whole game. This is just a little part of the game that somebody it rubs somebody the wrong way, and I don't know. I feel like you need to change bigger things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something we're going to be definitely probably seeing more about in the next couple of months, and as Overwatch finally gets released, and it's the first big controversy I think this game has had so far. So, and a lot of big YouTubers have been talking about it. So I'm going to try to avoid beating a dead horse too much with this one, but it is good that we can bring it up, and it's something to keep an eye on as it becomes more.
And when is its release date?
I am not 100% sure they've given a full release date yet, because, I mean, they're at a stage now where they almost can release it and it would be totally fine, but they're still making some small tweaks.
Okay.
I think they did have a release date, I just don't remember it right now. I have a feeling it's going to be around the next BlizzCon or something like that when
Gotcha.
they have a lot of their stuff come out. So let's try to move on to something a little bit more happy. Before we do, though, I like to also mention that this is the first podcast we've actually had live streamed in two different forms, so you can hear us here online on the radio, or we can also have, if you go over to Twitch, we have Next Level Gaming online, where we're also streaming there, so you can follow us there. There is a bit of a delay on it, but as time goes on, we'll actually get it to run a little bit better and a little bit nicer, and we'll also be posting this onto YouTube after we're all done and set here. So let's move on to the next big subject, which I know Kenny's really excited about, which is the new information coming about the next Final Fantasy game. There was a release date given, I believe it was
September 30th.
September 30th, so
Yeah.
he's super excited about that. I know there's a lot of other new content, including movies, shows, and all types of different things like that coming out, and I know you wanted to talk about it a bit.
Well, I just wanted to point out the release date is September 30th. We've been waiting about 10 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. Most of my excitement was lost about 5 years ago. So I mean, I'm still excited, but I haven't really read up anything. I'm one of those people where when I know I'm gonna get a game, I don't want to know anything about it. I want to go in blind. So I know a little bit about it. All I really know is the release date now is September 30th. And I also noticed this last night. The collector's editions are already on eBay for over $1,000.
Oh boy, that's a whole
Yeah.
bunch.
But,
Yeah, And apparently this is going to be a rebuilt version from...
Versus 13.
Yeah, they were going to make Versus 13, and they said, we'll just make a full game with it instead. So they're intending to release that soon, hopefully. And
I am
I'm
excited
about it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I am excited for the CG prequel. So I'm pretty sure this was a prequel. It
probably is going to be a prequel. That's what a lot of CG stuff has been, or at least it's in a separate world, kind of. It's really hard to follow.
This one takes
Final
place.
Fantasy stuff.
I believe this one explains like the build up to 15. Like I said, I didn't read a whole lot. I just know who's in it, and that's about it. I just know it's coming. And it looks good. It sounds good, and I'm excited.
And everyone's favorite actor, Sean Bean, is going to be in there right away in the beginning.
Makes you wonder how long he's going to last.
Yeah, he's supposed to play a king, which is something that often dies in the series. So he's probably going to end up dead. I mean, we already know that's going to happen. Unfortunately, that is the curse of Sean Bean.
Probably.
I know that I heard about the remake they were doing for the next-gen consoles. I can't remember which.
7?
I think it was 7.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them changing the control scheme to more of a similar to Kingdom Hearts? Because I heard them changing that.
I miss turn-based. I miss the old school turn-based, but at the same time, I understand not everybody likes that anymore. So
Turn-based makes me want to slam my head into a wall.
Yeah. See, I love turn-based, but
that's actually one of the reasons why I never really got into Final Fantasy myself, and I was really into Kingdom Hearts. So I'm actually thinking I might pick up the Final Fantasy 7 just to try it out.
It looks good. I mean, I don't have any qualms. I know a lot of people that I've been friends with throughout the years, and they all love Final Fantasy 7. They're pretty upset about it because they want a full-on recreation. But this isn't a remake. This is a reimagining.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, and I feel like it might give the game a completely different feel. I mean, look at how remasters have affected games. There was the GTA remaster where they did it all in first person.
Yeah.
And I played through it in third person on PS3, and then when I went to PS4, I played it on first person, and it was a lot of a different feel to the game with the different control scheme. So, I mean, it might feel like a whole new game for some people out there. So that should be cool.
And whenever I talk about Final Fantasy, because I haven't fully kind of jumped into that series yet, and every time I talk to people, that's generally where they tell me to start is 7, or they say, go to those middle games, ignore the first games, play those later. I have no idea what to do with the series, so I'm kind of excited that they're doing some remakes, so maybe I can get into a more modern version of the games, and I really like Kingdom Hearts, so if it's the same gameplay, I might be into it. Just every time I've tried to read about the lore of that game, though, it's just spend a couple hours and I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see when they're gonna release Kingdom Hearts 3.
they haven't said anything about it.
Yeah, they've been really in the dark about it. They announced.
Was it like 3 or 4 years ago now where they talked about it at E3?
Wasn't it? They announced it before.
Year.
Oh no, they announced it like before. Wasn't it before PS4?
Oh no,
came out?
it was 2 years.
It was the announcement of PS4, or was it the E3 after?
Yeah, that's
They've
what
announced that they were making it, but
Yeah.
they didn't show anything until last year at
Yeah.
E3. They showed the trailer, and they looked like they were really head on to like release it last fall, but they didn't say anything about it. So, and I don't think it's coming before E3. So my prediction is it's either gonna come this coming fall or maybe spring of next year.
It won't be this fall.
You don't think so?
No, because Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I mean maybe they could.
I mean, Square Enix might break their tendency and just release it during the summer, especially when you get the summer drought of no games. That'd be a perfect market for them.
They showed off both games though at the same time at E3 was Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. So they're good. They could be.
Especially because they could be connected.
Yeah.
Or it could be early 2017 because Final Fantasy 13 came out
Yeah,
in
that's
March.
saying. I'm thinking if it goes past spring, I wouldn't. I mean, I could definitely see it happening, but I hope it doesn't go past spring. But I think we could see a spring release, and if not, maybe the fall release of this year. And I'm wondering if it's gonna reach Nintendo consoles, because right now they've only announced it for the Xbox and the PlayStation.
But there's some rumors coming for E3. The fun rumor mill of I think is the NXT or the NX.
The NX.
NX.
Yeah, and a lot of people are rumoring that's going to be released this fall, which personally I think it's going to be released in the spring, because I just don't see them they got their big games that are coming out like Star Fox and Zelda, so they're gonna try to push for those last couple sales for the Wii U, and I think that they're actually gonna probably release it in spring, the NX with Zelda on both the Wii U and on the NX. That's what a lot of people are rumoring. But I'd be interested to see if Kingdom Hearts would work its way to Nintendo because they've had a lot of titles on the like handhelds. I know there's one on the DS and there's one on the 3DS. So I'm interested to see if they venture over to them.
But on that note, did Square Enix really ever work with Nintendo? I mean, I thought they've had like a grudge where they've held against them since back when the PlayStation split happened.
There was no grudge. They had to move Final Fantasy VII to the PS1 just because of storage space, because of the discs.
And they've done plenty of titles with Super Nintendo on.
They've been fine. They don't usually release like major games that are released on the other two consoles on Nintendo. It's usually games that they collaborate with Nintendo on.
Because I think Square Enix actually works pretty close with Sony, if I remember correctly. So they often say, "Oh, it's exclusive for this," but I don't think they're going to do that in this season.
I think back in the day when it was SquareSoft, they were working with Nintendo a lot, and then when they became Square Enix was around just after Kingdom Hearts came out. Because I think if you look at the original Kingdom Hearts, it says SquareSoft on it. So, yeah, they've always been working with Nintendo and Sony. I think they haven't worked much with Xbox.
Yeah, not a lot of the older developers have, actually, because they're kind of the new kids on the block.
Another interesting thing to see Kingdom Hearts move over to the Xbox One. And I thought that was kind of interesting because it's always been PlayStation exclusive. So that's why I'm really interested to see if it goes to the Nintendo console too, because they've done stuff with them, and if they're doing it on Microsoft, I can see that. But a lot of people are not happy with like trying to develop for the Wii U because it's controls and the control scheme, and they have to completely develop a different way than they would for the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Yeah, and well, as we're getting to talking about consoles now, unfortunately, our true love, our console from when we were children, the PS2 has hit its final day. The final server for the final game is turned off. There is no longer any connection to PS2 through any developer.
Yeah, it's been 16 years, and I think they went 12 years before they stopped developing actual games for it. So it's probably one of the longest running consoles, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I know, I'm pretty sure it's the highest selling console.
Oh no, it is. It's
not anymore. They got beat a couple of years ago by the Wii.
Oh yeah, that was the only thing I was thinking about
Oh,
was
wow.
the Wii. I was like, the Wii's got to be either first or second.
I just read an article the other day that said the PS2 was the highest selling. Maybe
I think it's still holding the
manufacture,
highest selling for like
I
their
know
release type of thing, where they
Mhm.
just sold a ridiculous amount for the first year.
I know those two are the top twos. Because
Yeah.
I know when you had the console wars with like PS3 and Xbox 360, everybody was like, yeah, I got an Xbox and a Wii.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I got a PS3 and a Wii.
Yep.
Like, everybody
The
had a
Wii
Wii.
was like,
and
what
Wii
was it almost? Like $200,
so-
$300?
I remember when the Wii first came out, and I was going to get one for my birthday, and we could not find one anywhere. They were sold out everywhere.
It's because they were
And
great.
It's Nintendo was like that up until the Wii, and then after that it was gone. It was like Wii U, you could find them everywhere. But I remember GameCube, Wii, I would go to like 10 different stores to try to find one. They always be sold out. And it's interesting because like now we have the Wii U, and that was like, oh, we couldn't even get that to sell. So yeah.
I'm still trying to find a classic Wii after all these years.
Yeah, they
on
have
rare
like the
occasions
new.
you find them used actually, but
And you know what's funny? I remember reading an article on Nintendo Power about when they were developing the Wii, and they actually were supposed to name it Nintendo Revolution, and it was supposed to come in 6 different colors.
Mhm.
But
I had a red one.
yeah, I mean that came out later though. Like I remember you can only get white, and that was it. And you can only get white controllers, and they were expensive. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, and then like I think they just sped the release up too quickly, and they didn't really make a whole lot of first party games, I guess, like Mario and all them. Which I've seen a lot of change in the Wii U, so I feel like they're on an upwards. scale for them, and I'd like to see what the NX has to bring. I hope it's pretty good.
Apparently, it's supposed to be more powerful than the Xbox is
And the PlayStation.
So,
But
the only thing I fear is
but-
that the big thing that was the.
what about the PS
4.5.
4.5?
I don't know about that yet. I know very little about that at all.
People think, oh wow, it's gonna be more powerful. Well, the PS4 has been out for 3 years now,
Mhm.
so it's like I would assume it'd be more powerful.
Which, according to the PC Master Race, means it's out of date.
Yeah, no one. Yeah.
So, we are very excited for that, and I know I'm still looking to get a Wii, and I don't know, I just hope that the big selling point on the original Wiis was that they were relatively cheaper compared to the two other big guys.
Even the Wii U was pretty cheap. I think it was
It's like $400 to
when
start
it's-
with, or $500.
No,
It was like
300 for
Really?
the white one
And there
and
was, like,
350 for the black
The
one.
downfall is you wanted to get another controller and you buy a new console. At
Yeah,
least for the first
well-
couple months.
That can I can go on and on about the controller. I think it's a bad idea. I hope the NX just has a regular controller and just stop with all. And like another thing that I didn't like was you had to use Wii remotes for a lot of the Wii U games. What if you never had a Wii? Then you have to buy Wii remotes.
And the Wii remotes cost a lot.
That sounds like Nintendo, though.
Yeah, I just think just make a simple controller I can use. Make it a gaming console that people are gonna like, and then come out with third-party and first-party games, and people will buy that. I can guarantee it. Because wouldn't you want your PlayStation to be able to play Mario and Zelda?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So if they can make everything just like the PlayStation and the Xbox, but put Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, all that on there, people are gonna buy that. I mean,
yeah.
definitely. Like I would buy it.
Yeah.
I'd buy it the day it
And
comes out.
especially with the next upcoming E3 coming up, we're going to see more on that console. But something that was just released now that's probably going to be relevant to it as time goes on now is going to be the new Nintendo reward system, especially because assuming it's going to start getting integrated into its systems of buying stuff gives you points.
See, to me, it looks exactly like Club Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever used Club Nintendo. Basically, whenever you bought a game, you'd get a certain amount of points from buying that game. You'd have to register the game on there. You'd get coins, and then you could buy old school games like Super Nintendo games to put on your Wii. They had posters, all that, and they took it down about a year ago. They didn't really explain why. They said they were gonna revamp their reward system and bring it out, but looking at this, it looks almost the same to me. It's instead of coins, they're doing points now, and like that seems the only change that I've seen from it so far. So to me, it sucks because like I had to spend my coins that I was saving because they did a final catalog that you could pick from, and I think I ended up missing the date to get the last game, but they had you can get Star Fox for your 3DS if you had enough points. But I really liked the Club Nintendo, and I think they should have just stuck with that. But apparently they wanted to revamp it, and I'm hoping then this might be you get more points or something is different about it, because I feel like that was kind of a waste, because now you buy a year of Nintendo stuff between the end of the Club Nintendo and this, and you got no points for anything. So I hope it's worth it. I hope there is some change that makes it better.
The only downfall I think I was seeing on it was that it's partially time-based. Like, you get bonus points for buying more stuff in a shorter period of time. But only if you get smaller purchases, because you get less points for purchasing things that cost more money. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, and I think that one thing would be cool is if you get points for playing their games.
Yeah,
That
as
would be
far as I can
something
see, they
interesting.
didn't really have much on that.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that. I'm just saying that would have been a kind of cool idea if they could do that.
Or to give coins for, like one of the
You don't
guys
have
said
to give a lot.
they previously had it where if you did like a review on the game on their do it just saying 5 stars, not bad, you would get points for that type of stuff. But you had to own the game to do that. So I don't know. I think there should be more implementation like that, but I have a feeling Nintendo wouldn't go that far because they're giving away free money.
This is their equivalent to the rewards type thing with like PlayStation Plus and Xbox One.
Especially because they still offer it free. You can
Yeah.
still play on the Wii for free without having a subscription.
And I don't know. It seems like it's really hard to get anything relevant. Like I think the highest thing you can get right now that they've shown on the North America list was Twilight Princess HD, and you have to get 1,000 platinum points, which it showed on there they have platinum and gold points, which they didn't. I don't know if they explained if they could like how you get the gold or how you get the platinum, but to me it seems like you're gonna have to buy a lot of stuff from Nintendo to get those. And that's what kind of sets them apart from the PlayStation and the Xbox is because you are paying for better online and you're getting free stuff.
Yeah.
And it's automatic. It's not like, oh, I have to save, I have to buy a certain amount of games to get this.
Yeah.
It's, oh, that's with your subscription. And I think that would have been a better route for them to go, is to make like a PlayStation Plus or something like that, to where you get rewards monthly instead of, oh, I have to buy a lot of games to get these things. And like, if you think about it in the long run, you're probably going to be spending more money doing that than if you would buy a subscription, because you could pay $50 for a year for PlayStation.
Yeah, if you wanted to.
$50 for a year for Nintendo, and you get some like a free game here, a free game there.
I think the only
every
issue
month.
I have with that is a big point that Nintendo wanted to try and make was that they were the only guys that didn't do a subscription, so you can play your games whenever you want for free, and if they're multiplayer, more.
Well,
to
I'm not saying make the multiplayer only if you have the subscription.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation Plus was a thing with the PS3. You
Mhm.
still got to play your online without having it.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, is make the subscription thing for that free, kind of like a loot crate kind of thing,
Yeah.
where you get something every month. I think that would have been a better thing for the customer. But, I mean, people want to make money. So.
Yeah, I think a cool thing with it, though, is that it's also not limited to what they choose. With how you currently can get coins, you can buy basically anything.
That's true.
So I can get new games if I bought enough stuff, but that's, let's say, a brand new game would cost like $128 within 2 months.
You have
basically.
to buy like 8 games to get one free, and
Yeah.
when you can get like lower game, like I think Nintendo has the best because they have the retro things on their console. So
Yeah.
let's say if
Everyone loves
it's
the
the
retro
month
games.
of April, okay, we're gonna give people Super Metroid and Super Mario World for free.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I'd love Nintendo for that.
A way they might be able to approach that is be able to say, all right, you can still spend points on this, but for points right now, this has like a 50% discount or something like that.
Well, the way it was set up before, you really didn't get a lot of coins, or they had coins before. So that's why I was saying I hope you get more from your games this time to make it worth actually. Well, I mean, it's obviously going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And another thing they did with Club Nintendo was they had a promotion for their Mario Kart that if you bought it, and I think, when did it come out? February? You bought it, and then you had a certain amount of time to register it, you'd get a free game. It was Wind Waker, Pikmin 3, and then 2 non-relevant games that probably no one got. But, I mean, I ended up getting Wind Waker for free,
Those
which was...
developers somewhere in the world real sad right now.
I think it was Wii Party and something else, but, yeah, and, like, that was one of my favorite promotions ever, was because I wanted to get Wind Waker HD, and I already had it for the GameCube, and now it's like, oh, I just got it for free. That was pretty cool. And I know that as far as Xbox 360 and like PlayStation go, they're releasing like full games now too. You haven't really seen it much from like PS4 and Xbox One because they're newer, but to see like remastered games would be really cool to get those free, because like, I mean, I already have the games, but I'd like to see them on my cool console.
Yeah, you'd like to be able to play the classics and stuff like that. So Nintendo's still developing that, but of course they're coming out with new games, and people are still going to be buying their stuff no matter what, even with the point system. And one game that's recently been kind of having some issues has been the new Hyrule Warriors, which Hyrule Warriors is ridiculously fun, but it's been having issues, I believe, on the normal 3DS. And with the new 3DS, I forgot its special name. Yeah, I think it's a new
just
3DS.
New 3DS, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I totally didn't intentionally do that, but the new 3DS is running it fantastically, but the older one has been having some issues barely being able to run it.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people are saying, why did you even release it on this particular device if it can't even run? So I think that's kind of a big thing with to keep an eye out for, is that it's with the reward system and the new games, people are going to be buying games, and you got to be able to have them to run on the devices.
Yeah, like that's another, like a lot of people are saying, it's not unplayable if you look up the comparison videos. It just runs at, most of the time whenever there's anything going on screen, it runs at like 15 to 16 frames a second, which in today's day and age is pretty much unacceptable.
It gives a lot of us headaches.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder why they didn't just make it a new 3DS only like they did with Xenoblade, because Xenoblade, you can clearly tell that would not run on the old hardware. So
Yeah. I honestly don't even understand why they wouldn't, because from a business standpoint, to be able to get people to buy new consoles is obviously the best move financially.
yeah,
I mean, maybe Nintendo's being nice and letting us play games like that, even though it makes us frustrated if the frame rates are low. But I do have the feeling that 3DS is like reaching its limit. It's been out for a very long time. You know how long it's been out?
At least since I was in high school, so for a while.
Yeah, and it's getting to the end of the point where they're just gonna probably can the regular 3DS. They're gonna make it so that you can only play the new games on the new 3DS. I think that's the best move financially for them, and I know that sucks having to buy a new console, but it's the only market for a mobile system besides actual like iPhones and Androids.
and I do want to say that, sorry to interrupt you, I do want to say that I don't even feel that the new 3DS's potential has even been tapped. Because if you play Xenoblade, like it's just beautiful. It barely looks any different from the Wii version.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like it's
So many colors.
If developers were to straight up develop only for the new 3DS instead of having to develop for both, I feel like we would see a lot more, better games, prettier games, better running games on, what people would think is not a very powerful system, but I feel like it is pretty powerful.
And their idea of updating their console, they really threw people off with the title. I think making it the new 3DS, I think made people more frustrated. Like, why can't you just keep the 3DS?
Yeah.
Why do I have to buy a new system to play these games? And people don't understand, well, it's a really updated version of your 3DS. And if they would have gave it a different title, I think people would have had a more positive reaction to it. Like if it was Nintendo Revolution, that was like the one before, but if it was something new, and then they would be like, oh, this is a new system. It's not the same one, even though it looks like the same one. But I mean, Nintendo's weird with that. That's why they called their new system the Wii U, which...
And if I remember correctly, there really wasn't a whole lot of backlash about the DSi when that came out. It was basically just like, oh, okay, cool. Now we can actually, go onto an online store with our DS, as opposed to why are we getting a new console?
Mhm.
What was the DS that they released that was basically a wedge of cheese?
That was the original DS.
No, it was like the one that was one piece.
Oh,
like,
the
didn't open.
2DS.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's
Whatever
actually
happened to
pretty, it's really relevant right now.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're
Like my
marketing it.
sisters have them, and they're the cheaper ones. So if you want to pay $100,
Yeah.
get the 2DS. If you want to pay $200, get the new 3DS.
The long running joke
Yeah.
is that you can actually use it as a door chalk just to keep it open.
It looks like it.
I mean, Nintendo needs to keep up they need to keep up with their like portable system. So I understand why.
Especially because they're the only ones in the market right
Yeah,
now.
and
I'm pretty sure the
and
PlayStation's totally given up.
in Japan, the 3DS is huge. It outsold the Xbox One when the Xbox One was released.
I mean, Xbox in Japan's not really.
Exactly. So I mean, that's a big market for them is Japan. Like that's where they get most of their sales from. North America is probably second, and then Europe. But they gotta keep it updated and keep people wanting to play their stuff. And they did that with the Wii U. Was their update of the Wii, and I think they need to just like scratch it and make a new name for their updated system, and not the Wii U 2.5 or something like that.
I think
like,
the only issue that I have is that the thing with Nintendo is that every time somebody sneezes, they release either a new version or a new console. I mean, how many versions of the DS are there now? I mean, there was the DS, the 3DS.
That's what I'm saying. They
Like
need
9 others. So they just need to say, all right, everything's done. We're having one
Yeah.
thing that's really good right now, and then stick with that for a little while.
and like, and they just completely own that, so they know they don't have to really do much to it because they know that people are going to buy their 3DS stuff because there's not a market against them in that aspect, and they need to stop doing that with their consoles and really focus on them. I think. I mean, you got the new 3DS. That's cool. Make games for that and update their console.
So let's try to move away from Nintendo because everyone gets mad when we talk about them for a little bit too much. So let's move over to some of the computer stuff or some of the other consoles a little bit. I know that you're kind of excited for some new released information about the upcoming Call of Duty games.
Oh yes, and as
how
the
the new
Twitch
one,
streamers can see,
yeah,
I'm representing Call of Duty.
we have an Advanced Warfare sweatshirt, and we all judge him slowly.
Yeah, you should. I mean, that one's not the best game. Anyways, we have seen two big things for Call of Duty this week.
I think probably the one that I like the most is that the next one might be a space-based game.
Yes, this
which
is a
people don't
rumor
like.
that, which I think is weird because they already announced that it's going
It's
to
an
be
E3
Call of Duty Ghost 2. So, to me, I don't know if this could be true. I mean, it's speculation, but they're saying that the Ghost 2, which is the next Call of Duty, is going to be in space. And I don't know how I feel about that personally. I know a lot of people are frustrated that we got all the futuristic things, bring us back to World War II, and I don't see Call of Duty going in that direction anytime soon, especially if they release this next one in space. It's gonna be that's the trend for them, and they're gonna stick with that. It's just like if Halo, like their thing, it's gonna stay the same. And I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's getting a little ridiculous, with how they were wanting to do their games. I think that they need to branch out a little bit, change things up, and that's just how I feel about it. What are your thoughts?
One thing that I have about it is that if it is a Ghost sequel, which I mean, there's apparently some rumors that it just might not be.
Infinity Ward already confirmed it.
Yeah, and I'm just not 100% sure if the rumor is founded or not. I mean, it's from a guy that's been notoriously known online to give good rumors.
And I could totally see that Ghost 2 happening in space, because I mean, look at Black Ops 1, was just in like a normal war setting. Black Ops 2, a little bit of futuristic, and then Black Ops 3 got jetpack boosting.
They just decided, we're done with Advanced Warfare. We're going to put that into this series.
And I could totally see that and happening, and because that's the trend it's going in. Even though it says, we're putting Ghost on a label, this could be completely different than Ghost 1, which should be, because I mean, that was probably one of the worst Call of Duties out there.
I just kind of hope for it, so that if it is a Ghost game and it is based in space, you can be Ghost in space. And it's going to be great.
A really big fan of the series. I was very disappointed with how Ghost turned out, especially because Infinity Ward made the Modern Warfare series, which is probably the best.
Yeah.
And
they were trying a lot of stuff new, and it didn't work out in their favor.
That's what I'm saying. They need to stop trying to make everything so new.
But people do love Black Ops 3. It's a mixture of two of the franchises, pretty much.
There was people, they hated Ghosts. They were like, Advanced Warfare is alright. And then Black Ops 3 was actually the first one that has a very, very positive reaction to. I think it was done very well.
Because they did enough new stuff where people were like, this feels a little bit more fresh.
The zombies mode was very thought out and done well. And we need to see that continue. So I'm hoping that if they do the space thing, that they do it right. I could see them doing, maybe if they're on a moon base, kind of a zero gravity thing going on. And I wonder how that would affect the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, we already had the ridiculous jumping in Advanced Warfare, and how that was played, where there was no linear scale there was just, oh, now we have 3 levels to our map, and you could die from above you, you could die from below you. I mean, all the old Call of Duties and even Black Ops 3 was very linear, so we saw a really different kind of gameplay in Advanced Warfare. So, I mean, I kind of enjoyed Advanced Warfare for what it was, but I would like to see this game go that route or traditional Call of Duty route,
Yeah.
and actually make it well.
And there's been also stuff in the rumor mill about, how I think I said a couple weeks ago where Battlefield was, coming out with a new game that might be in the past. So we're going to see some new stuff going on with shooters. I think the new Battlefield's going to be in World War One. Another cool thing, though, is that they also came out with some more information on their DLCs.
Mm-hmm.
The DLC 2 or 3, I think.
We have the DLC Pack 2, which is Eclipse. It has 4 maps and a zombie map. The 4 maps are Spire, which is a futuristic airport terminal, which a lot of people are kind of excited for because we saw in Modern Warfare 2 they had the terminal map, which was like a huge fan favorite of a lot of Call of Duty players. So they hope it's something like that. And then we have Rift, which is more of a darker kind of feel, which could potentially be a fan favorite because a lot of Black Ops 3's maps are futuristic and colorful. And then we have Knockout, which is in a Shaolin Temple, and then Verge, which is a reimagination of a Call of Duty World at War map, Bonsai. So I'm hoping that we see a lot more remakes.
Yeah, especially because there's supposed to be another 2 DLC packs, so
yeah,
we'll be probably getting a lot more of the Call of Duty stuff going on because, I mean, they released DLC. It's something that comes with the series.
Yeah.
But with the DLC, there's also something that I care about, and it's something that's kind of showing maybe a glimmer of light from another company, which is Overkill Software just released another big DLC for their popular game Payday 2, known as the Hardcore Henry packs. Yeah, I was tapped the mic. And you guys have probably heard about me a couple weeks ago. I'm super excited for Hardcore Henry. I mean, that's probably one of the most excited films I am for this year, and I know that Suicide Squad is coming out. I'm more excited for this movie.
It looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It looks really good.
I saw the trailer for it during Deadpool.
Yeah, that's
That was
the first
I saw
area
it.
of the trailer.
That was the first time I saw it, and I was like, this looks like it could be really good or really bad.
Yeah, that's why it can be on one side or the other for me
Yeah.
right now. I'm actually going to go see the movie. But
Mhm.
with the upcoming DLC from Overkill, the big thing that it is that it's a lot of content. It's 2 maps, it's a whole bunch of new weapons, the new character with his new set of weapons, and it was all given out free. If you guys don't know the situation that originally happened, if people don't know what happened with them originally, is that back last fall they had this event called Crime Fest where they released a lot of free content and people really love them and they're really nice and cool. But during that they released microtransactions. Yeah, so people were not in a very good mood with them, and they kept digging the hole deeper and deeper for the past those couple of months, all the way through December, where they kept releasing more DLCs that cost money and more stuff that you would have to buy to get vaults, and it just got to the point where people were getting frustrated with the company because they were just kept digging a hole. Just recently, however, they've been kind of trying to dig themselves out of that hole again. They've been releasing more free content. They've been releasing content that a lot of people like. People are frustrated with the last couple of things they've released because they've all been crossovers. So like I said, the last one's been Hardcore Henry. Before that, we had the Goat Simulator. Before that, we had Point Break for the new Point Break film. They actually, a couple of years ago, they did John Wick when that was a thing. So they've done a lot of crossover material. And
was all that stuff free, released free, the promotional crossover stuff?
No.
Okay.
The last 2 weren't. So the last 2 were the Goat Simulator Heist and the... what was the other one I said? Point Break Heist. The thing is, though, is that they were very much liked. There was good content. People were so frustrated they had to pay for it, but it's been more popular. And one of the big reasons that people have been looking for more from them is because they said when they released these microtransactions that people hated, they'll start to try to make the content more free, have more access to it, more stuff coming out free. So this is the first glimmer of hope we've had from that company for a while now. And I know the community has been really happy and it's been a little bit more upbeat than usual, especially with how fun this content is. And if you guys don't know any lore about the Hardcore Henry yet, there's a completely insane character in there called Jimmy, who is the character you get to play now in Payday. He's just a cocained out guy. He's pretty interesting. So it is nice to see that there's a couple of glimmers of light coming out from those developers amongst some of the darker stuff that's been going on recently with a couple other developers that I know have been coming up with some bad content. But on the news of content coming out, today is everybody's favorite day for reading articles. It's the only day that people actually seriously read and contemplate if this article is true or not. We have April the 1st. It is April Fool's Day, everyone, and there's been some pretty fantastic stuff coming out so far. Probably one of my favorite things I've seen popped up so far was The Witcher, or the developers behind The Witcher actually made a video about their horse in the game, Roach. And yeah, it's pretty fantastic of how they're explaining how every glitch in that game was intentional. They put it in there to get you out of the world so that you know you're playing a video game. I know already Blizzard's done some stuff. Have you guys seen anything you liked so far?
I saw something that I was hoping was an April Fool's joke, but it wasn't. It was Capcom announced they're bringing Monster Hunter and Mega Man to mobile, and I was hoping that was an April Fool's joke. Turns out it's not.
I'm not entirely mad about that. I mean, at least for Mega Man. Mega Man's a 2D side scroller.
Have you played Mega Man X on iOS?
No.
It's hard.
Well, and this is also implying that they make it properly, so they don't bork it up a little bit. Do you see anything good?
As you saw in my post earlier, I saw the trailer for the Darth Maul Netflix series.
So much
which
rage.
I was so hyped for, and then I realized that it was April Fool's, and I'm like, okay, you got me.
Yeah, and I was like, I had that small amount of please be real, please. Yeah. It was like as soon as I clicked on it, I saw it wasn't.
I'm a huge Darth Maul fan, so I was super hyped for it, and now
we have a bunch of movies coming out though, so
that's
the series is back. Maul, so.
That's almost as good as what was it like? It must have been like 5 years or so now. With they came out with the Legend of Zelda movie trailer on April Fool's Day, and it fooled everybody.
Yeah, dude,
that was heartbreaking.
Yeah. See, the best April Fools are the ones where you act like you're totally serious and then you keep it going. Or there's like I know there's a couple of companies that actually do it where they'll have like an April Fool's happen a couple days before the actual day, but they won't actually release the major information until like April the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
It drives everyone nuts. That's the best ones. The one I liked was there was a Blizzard one as well that showed up that was the Hearthstone MMO. You get to play as all these iconic heroes from Hearthstone in this massive world. And they're just showing clips from World of Warcraft the entire time because that's basically what that is. And it was just like, you play in this iconic world with all of these heroes, and yeah.
That's
great.
And then at the very, very end of the video, they have like a sign that has Hearthstone, and they just nailed on boards that said the MMO, and then it just falls down and it has like World of Warcraft logo behind it. So I always love seeing Blizzard's one. I remember when I was actually still playing Warcraft, which are the years I regret. They had they were like, oh, we're going to release a new class for everyone called the Bard, and it's going to be, because that was when they actually mixed with Activision at the time, and that was when Activision were releasing 2,000 versions of Rockstar a day, and they actually said, we're going to have it integrated with a controller so you can hook it up to your computer and actually play as the Bard in game. And I know that just a little bit, I was like, you know what, I would probably play the Bard. It would probably be really fun. Just have the Guitar Hero thing just playing as you're fighting against a raid boss.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. And I wanted to actually talk about, since we were talking about E3 a little bit today, what do you guys most expect from this coming E3?
From this coming E3? Honestly, I haven't been excited for much. I know that there's going to be a couple big games that are going to pop up that everyone's going to be surprised about. Of course, there's always going to be a lot of the little games everyone's like, cool. Like, I know Quantum Break is coming out soon. Or no, wait, did it already come out?
I believe it comes out
soon.
This week?
It has to be soon, at least.
Well,
there's reviews for it already.
Which, when the Quantum Break showed up, everyone was like, cool. I mean, it wasn't spectacular at the time. They're like, it looks like a neat game, but that was also when everyone was really nervous from Watch Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So they were kind of hesitant with accepting this new IP that looked so cool.
And I think watching E3's lackluster was a lot last year. I feel. I feel like we had a couple of big ones. Like I'm pretty sure Dark Souls 3 was announced then. Last E3 we had the Kingdom Hearts trailer with the Final Fantasy trailer.
Did the Kingdom Hearts trailer with the roller coasters
We saw
and stuff like
the
that.
Gears trailer.
Is that released yet?
No.
Oh, man, I need to play that.
But honestly, like it was pretty lackluster. There wasn't a whole lot.
You just reminded me as we're talking about lackluster because I had to think of the exact opposite of that word. I'm excited to see more stuff on Doom. I mean,
oh, me too. I was talking about Doom a couple podcasts ago when the multiplayer trailer came out.
Has gotten me so excited because every little piece they've released has been just. It looks like what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure yet.
And I've never been super into the series, and just coming from an outsider standpoint, watching that multiplayer trailer was like, it seemed insane to me. Like there was so many different things that I've never seen in the shooter that I really want to try. So
like they even had demon mode integrated into
that was,
where you can turn into a demon.
Yeah, I saw
and
somebody jump and turn into a demon and just like wreck somebody. So that was pretty interesting for me. I'm thinking that from E3, I'm expecting to see, obviously, Red Dead Redemption from Rockstar.
Yeah, Red Dead 3.
Maybe some Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, it's been.
Oh, I don't think they're going to do a Grand Theft Auto soon. I think they're going to focus
they've already
Red Dead for now.
confirmed a development for 6. They just haven't said anything about it. There's been rumor that it's going to be a female protagonist, which could be very interesting.
So are they going to go back? I wonder if they're going to go back to the single protagonist again, or they're going to have to try.
As long as they go back to the single, I don't care what they.
I like the GTA 5.
Three-player.
It was alright, but
like
you got to build up 3 characters as opposed to build up 1.
I wasn't a huge fan of GTA 4. GTA 5 though I've played over.
No,
I don't want to go bowling. Hey Nico, I want to go bowling. But I was a huge fan of GTA 5. I like the character development of the 3 different characters. I feel like it brought a very cool story to it, and I actually think that we should keep with that. And another thing with that, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think they're going to do anything for GTA yet. I think we're going to get to that. But of course, there's always going to be a couple big disappointments. I'm assuming are going to come right away. Especially with just recently, Valve has been coming out a bit more and has been talking to a lot of different developers, and people's been really excited with them, especially with the new content coming out with Global Offensive and their other games. And there's also been a little glimmer and a little peek at their new video coming out that just came out today for the new Half-Life 3 announcement. A lot of people have been really excited about that, so I expect to be seeing that coming out for E3 as well. And it was really brief. It was just Alex and Gordon walking over the top of the Borealis, and they actually showed some concept areas as well in the video, but I know they've been really, really excited for this because we've actually been seeing rumors that they've been working on a new Source engine. So I expect to definitely see more content on that because E3 is quickly approaching and the rumor mill's already started.
Oh, we're going to see this E3 is going to be the year of VR. And that's what's going to be the biggest thing that E3 is going to be about. So I feel like we'll see a couple really surprising out of nowhere games released.
Last Guardian. I'm hoping.
I thought that game got canceled. I still don't know what's going on.
They came out 2 years ago and said it wasn't canceled. They put it on hiatus.
They showed it on the last E3.
They showed it on the last E3.
Yeah, they showed it at last E3 with the whole gameplay thing, and they said, "Oh, it's coming up soon."
That was the year before.
No, it was last year.
I'm excited for that.
But I'm thinking that it's going to be something out of nowhere. We're not even going to see it coming. Like 2 things, and then everything else.
That's always in the Nintendo thing, though. Where like Nintendo shows up and it's just like, here's games
we never
you
know
can expect.
Nintendo's like their own.
Isn't there a big developer not actually going to be EA? EA's not going to be there this year, aren't they?
I thought it was Activision.
I think we're going to see Retro's new game show up. They've been in developing for the Wii U since the Wii U came out, but not said anything about a game. So I'm hoping to see from them that we'll see a Wii U game from them. Hopefully Metroid, because they were the ones that made Metroid Prime.
And you guys could definitely keep an eye over at NLGO.net, where we'll be keeping on updated messages on a lot of what's going on in the rumor mill right now. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have this week. We'll be back next week with more gaming discussion. Be sure to look for updates to our site at nlgo.net. You can also follow us on Twitter at nextlevelnet, like us on Facebook, or email us at nextlevel@nlgo.net. Next Level is produced by WIPZ, and we'd like to thank them for the use of this station. And you can listen in every Friday at 4 p.m. A special thank you to Nick Quas for allowing us to use his music for this podcast. You can visit his website at nickquas.bandcamp.com. And we would also like to thank the University of Wisconsin-Parkside for their support. And I want to thank Kenny and Jeremy for joining me today. And, of course, everyone listening and supporting us out there. For all of us at Next Level, I'm Alec. So long, and see you guys next week.